I see the Zooms filling up with travelers and potential travelers. We'd love to know where you'd like to go next or where your favorite destination has been in the past. If you'll put that in the chat. We're going to go ahead and get started in just a few minutes. We're also streaming live on Facebook. As we mentioned, this will be recorded and you'll be able to go back and view it again. Oh, Beth loves the national parks. I love the national parks, Beth. You are absolutely right. Oh, river cruising. The Seine is one of my favorite. I did that a few years ago. It was absolutely wonderful. I hope you get to go past the Eiffel Tower as the lights come on. We're not having a very sunny day here in Happy Valley. So if by chance something happens that we lose power and we lose internet connection, if we don't immediately come back on, we will try and reschedule this for later on, but I think maybe we have a little bit of a break in the weather right now. Mike was in Acadia. Your 10th visit. You could do you could be a guide. Looks like we still have some people entering. We're going to go ahead and give it just another minute or two before we get started. I'm glad people could join us today. I know August is a busy time for most people. Eileen's got her fan club with us today. Sally says hello. Lou and Diane are also saying hello to Eileen. For those of you who don't know Eileen, she is not only a proud Penn State supporter, she used to be Alumni Association staff. So she has a pretty big following from us. Oh, Amy says that she's a member of the fan club. We'll give it just a second and then I'll go ahead and take over. Another great friend of Eileen's, Dale, is here. We've been trying to get Dale to travel with us. Maybe today he can find a tour that is interesting to him. Bob's going to be joining us for the Auburn game. You'll need to stop by the Alumni Association and say hello. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, everybody. I'm Kelly Morgante, the Assistant Director of the Alumni Travel Program. I do want to say that it is not a real sunny day here in Happy Valley. So if we lose internet and cannot reconnect, we will try to broadcast this at a later date. You'll all be notified of that, but hopefully the weather will cooperate and we'll be able to stay connected. I want to welcome you to another quarterly travel spotlight. This is the third in a series of 4 for this year. We are planning on doing them again next year, so keep abreast of some dates that are coming up. As a reminder, this presentation is being recorded and all viewers are on mute. Live closed captions are available for this event, and you can access them by clicking the closed caption button at the bottom of the Zoom window and then clicking Show Subtitle. You may also customize your caption view by clicking the stream text link, which you can find in the chat window. We've received several questions from those who pre-registered, and we'll answer as many as we can throughout the presentation. If you would like to submit any questions now, we invite you to do so via the Q&A button, which can be found at the bottom of the Zoom window. Following the live event, you can submit any questions via email to alumnitravel@psu.edu. As I said, this is our third spotlight in our series. Each presentation features one of our trusted tour operators and a special guest host or past traveler that will share their experience. The Penn State Alumni Association has offered group travel for more than 50 years. Each year, we comprise a collection of tours that visit destinations across the globe. Whether you enjoy navigating the waterways by ocean or river cruises, or traveling by motor coach, we offer 30+ opportunities each year that visit all 7 continents. Details on all of our upcoming tours is available at alumni.psu.edu/travel. Our tours are managed by some of the most trusted operators in affinity travel. Today, I'm joined by Vanessa Cheatham, Senior Director of Sales for Orbridge, and later on by Ilene White, life member of the Penn State Alumni Association, active member of the Center County Chapter, and proud Penn State parent and frequent traveler. Hi, Vanessa. Orbridge and Penn State have been partnering.
Hello there.
How are you? Is it storming out in Pittsburgh?
It sure is. I have some State College weather here too.
So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that the weather holds out for us today. But Penn State has been partnering with Orbridge for a variety of trips, mostly the national parks and Canada for 10 years now. Can you tell us a little bit about Orbridge and its history of working with alumni groups?
Absolutely. First, thank you so much for having me. It is just a pleasure to be here talking with you, Kelly. And while I really wish that I was back on campus, I'm a Penn State alum. So I always like to come back and visit. While I wish I was back on campus, this is second best. So thanks so much for having me.
Well, we're glad you could join us.
Thank you. Just one second while I... Here we go. Okay, sorry,
That's okay.
Little
technology is a wonderful thing.
Oh, sometimes it sure is. Just a moment. I'm going to get back to those slides. As you mentioned, Kelly, we've been partnering with Penn State for approximately 10 years to take my fellow Nittany Lions to destinations all around the globe. Orbridge is based outside of Seattle, Washington, on a small island called Bainbridge Island. And we're a small business of about 35 people now, all of whom are as passionate about travel as I am. Orbridge works exclusively in the educational travel market, and we only work with other colleges and universities like Penn State, other educational institutions like zoos and museums, and continuing educational groups. Work with about 140 other alumni associations. And our programs are really specifically crafted for these type of small group experiences that you can't access by Expedia or, by going online and simply purchasing something. These are really crafted to be a special and unique experience for Penn State alums. some advantages to our working together. Our most important guiding principle at Orbridge is that our programs are beloved by guests. And that simply means that we focus on destinations that offer life-changing experiences that our guests will never forget. And we do this by utilizing customized accommodations, like some of the lodges that you'll hear about that Ilene and I will talk about today. We have family-owned villas that we use. We charter small ships, like the one that will be traveling onto the Galapagos Islands with Penn State next year. And again, we create excursions that are exclusive to your group in order to provide a real depth of understanding of either a location, a people group, a history of an area. And we also make it our priority to offer a deluxe experience at a value price. Some of the services that we provide include a guest services team that specializes in your program of choice. So they've seen exactly what you're going to see, and they know they've walked alongside your expedition leader and tour guide. They'll speak specific to your destination. We also have an air team on site at Orbridge that is ready to work with any guests on their flights. And they can do everything from offering quotes and optional itineraries to actually booking the ticket.
That's great. Yeah, we offer a
curated.
We don't normally include the air as part of these tours because we have travelers from all over the country and all over the world. So it's good to know that, you know, they can help with setting up air arrangements from any destination.
Absolutely. From any destination to any destination.
Great.
We have a curated expedition library, or for our flavors programs, a hand-selected wine gift. And that is an incentive for guests to book by the early booking date, which is noted on your brochure. And, you know, that might include some field guide, maybe a coffee table book, a relevant novel. And we send that to the guests with the intention of really enhancing the educational experience prior to the program.
That's great. Yeah, the expedition guides that are sent, the expedition library that is sent ahead of time is fantastic. We got one when we did the national parks trip 2 years ago, and it was invaluable.
I'm glad you like it. Guests really enjoy getting to read about the destination and learn more before they go, for sure. We also we get a lot of high praise for our travel directors and expedition leaders. They've been with Orbridge, most of them, for over a decade since our inception, and they're on staff with Orbridge rather than being just contracted for individual trips. So for that reason, we feel like our expedition leaders are very well acquainted with our guests and with also our expectations Bridge to really deliver the highest quality program that we could deliver to our guests. An example on our national parks programs is that we use retired parks rangers. So I don't know if you experienced that on your trip, but they offer a really unique knowledge base of the area.
And some of their stories are just something that you're not going to find in a book anywhere. And you're not going to hear that except for somebody who has lived it. So yeah, our guide from the national parks trip, again, she was phenomenal in her knowledge, and just to be able to point out some of the ins and outs that you would not normally see.
That's great to hear. And really quickly, we tailor amenities for whatever a guest might need with regard to dietary restrictions or mobility needs, etc. Our guest service team is there to assist from beginning to end.
That's great. Yeah, so travel was paused for over a year, and it's now just really starting to resume. The first destinations to start back, of course, for Americans has been domestic travel, which include the national parks. We've been very successful offering the national parks through North America, both the US national parks and Canada with Orbridge. So let's go ahead and jump right in and talk about some of the upcoming destinations Penn State and Orbridge have going out in 2022. The national parks and lodges of the Old West and the Southwest National Parks are plus the 2 trips that we're going to be doing with our neighbors in Canada for next year.
That sounds great. So we'll do a deep dive into those destinations.
Great.
How about if we start with our neighbors to the north,
Perfect.
with our Toronto to Vancouver by rail program in September of 2022. Really perfect timing to view that fall foliage. So a great job choosing that date. I think it's a really wise one. It's really a once in a lifetime program across Canada, from Toronto, across the expanse of the 5 provinces, through the Rockies to the Pacific Northwest.
That's
and you'll enjoy the
fantastic.
serenity of, it is, an epic trip. Truly, to see the entirety of Canada in this way is, I think, really special. So, we tell guests you're able to unplug from the outside world for several days while you spend this time traversing Canada and watch the beauty of the Canadian wilderness really unfold before you. We
And they're
arrive
very
into
different going
Toronto.
across the terrain is very different as
Sorry.
you cross Canada.
It is, remarkably so. And until I did it, I had no idea the variety that you would see traversing Canada. So as you can see, you really do cover a lot of ground in a very, very luxurious way. We'll begin our adventure in Toronto, Ontario, and we'll depart from beautiful metropolitan Vancouver. Throughout the journey, we'll have very brief stops. You aren't stopping to get off the train and sleep somewhere, but rather on this program, you actually will be sleeping on the train, and you'll just be getting off at these stops briefly to see a town, maybe stretch your legs, do a little walking tour. But much of this program is on the Canadian rail system. So as I mentioned, we arrive into Toronto and we settle into a beautiful Fairmont hotel there for the evening. It's conveniently located across the street from your departure point the following day of Union Station. And then we meet and we get to know other Penn Staters at a welcome reception that evening. No more than 25 people will be on this program. So a really nice small Penn State group.
Very nice.
On train, sorry for the delay. It's taking just a tiny bit of time whenever I hit the forward button. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
On the train, you'll enjoy upgraded prestige class premium accommodations. There are many amenities that are included in this premium class service, including Art Deco style cars, leisure time to enjoy all of the amenities. There's dedicated butler service, priority seating in an exclusive dining car, and complimentary snacks and beverages, including all of your bar orders throughout this journey on the train. So
Wonderful.
really, it's very much an all-inclusive program. You might decide to relax at leisure within your private cabin. It provides about 50% more space than all of the other cabins on the train. And we have 2 full cars of prestige class cabins. You can see a photo there on the left. So it features this panoramic picture window, a leather couch by day that transforms into the bed at night. Obviously, the butler comes in and turns your room over for you. There are heated floors and walls, an ensuite bathroom with a shower, a flat screen TV. So really a very luxurious way to travel by train. And from either the comfort of your cabin or from the dining car, you'll be able to marvel at some of the scenery that pass you by. One highlight of the trip I hear from guests is along Fraser River and Hell's Gate, which it sounds a little more dramatic than, or maybe more scary than it is, but really it's stunning. And it's narrow cliff walls that create a funneling effect for hundreds of millions of liters of water that rush out of this beautiful kind of, cliff. So that's always a huge highlight for the guests. end our program in Vancouver, where you'll have breakfast on the train before disembarking for a guided city tour. You'll spend time in Chinatown, Gastown, as well as on Granville Island, where you'll have some free time.
So this is a really very all-inclusive.
It is. Absolutely. There's one lunch on the program that's not included. Otherwise, everything is, including, as I mentioned, the alcohol on board the train.
Wonderful.
We don't, as an aside, we don't like to nickel and dime people at Orbridge. Right. So we really do try to make gratuities, porterage, things like that, all inclusive in the cost of the program. We want guests to be able to just join us and really concentrate on the destination.
It's great.
We have our Toronto and Niagara Falls pre-tour if you'd like to extend your time by about 3 days in Canada. And, this really features the Canadian Horseshoe Falls and Great Gorge, as well as some time in Toronto with the city tour and some local guiding.
Oh, good. So yeah, so the fly fishing in northern Manitoba, so that is actually a custom Penn State trip. We talked, with Vanessa being an alum, she keeps up on a lot of special things that Penn Staters have here at University Park especially. And one of those is our fly fishing degree. And this is, like I said, this is a custom trip, and we're hoping to send George Daniels, who is the lead instructor and director of the Penn State Angling Program, on this trip. And Vanessa, I know that we sort of took what is traditionally your Northern Lights trip and customized this. Can you tell us just a little bit about how we customized that?
Absolutely. It's a great question. So we will travel on this trip to the Great Canadian North, a very remote area close to really not too far from the Arctic Circle. Although I will say that the time of the year to visit in August and September is really, I think, a spectacular time to visit, because in addition to the fly fishing and, seeing the beautiful glacial landforms and the boreal forest, that's really the best time to also view the Northern Lights. So right. Exceptionally good timing there. As Kelly mentioned, having Professor Daniels lead this group is just extraordinary. We'll arrive and depart Winnipeg, Manitoba, and then you'll transfer to the property, which is very remote, as I mentioned, by a small private plane. The days are filled with, again, as you'd guess, fly fishing, some wildlife spotting, outdoor adventures like hiking and canoeing and kayaking. You'll have some shore lunches prepared with your catch from your fishing excursions, which is always a highlight. There's also a resident biologist on site that will offer insight into the local wildlife and natural resources of the area. And we also will have fishing guides to take out very small groups and help lead them to the very best possible areas for their fishing.
That's great. Yeah, I think we had discussed our guide to fishermen ratio is one for 6, if I remember correctly.
That's right. So very small groups.
Yeah. And this trip itself is very limited.
Indeed, to about 20 people. So in the evenings, we'll at the beautiful lodge that I'll show you photos of, they have on-site staff preparing, local meals from local ingredients and a garden on site. And it's followed by opportunities really to view the Northern Lights. As I mentioned, your home for the week is Gangler Lodge. It's a really well outfitted lodge that is situated actually on untouched water. Oh, there it is. Spanning over 7,200 square miles. It features 12 river systems and 100 lakes. So it really is the ideal place for fly fishing. Speaking of the fishing, specifically, this area, the North Seal River fishery, is annually recognized as Canada's foremost waters for pursuing the Canadian Grand Slam. So northern pike, lake trout, walleye, and the majestic, beautiful Arctic grayling. They all thrive in these waters. Finally, if you'd like to extend your time in Winnipeg, we have the opportunity, and this is a much more oriented around culture in Winnipeg. So we'll visit the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. It's terrific, where interpretive guides will connect guests to stories about some of the people from that area who have made human rights history in the area.
Okay. One of the things I think is worth mentioning about the fly fishing trip is, while we don't include the air into Winnipeg as in the cost, the flight from Winnipeg up to Gangler's Lodge is included in the price, correct?
Correct.
Yes, great.
That is correct, yes.
So yeah, so let's go a little bit closer to home, and let's talk about the U.S. national parks. The national parks and lodges of the Old West is actually a trip we've done several times with the Alumni Association in Orbridge. I was fortunate enough to travel with a group of Penn Staters on this particular trip back in 2019. And I was just amazed at the different types of scenery. And again, sort of like going across Canada, we saw everything from prairies to canyons to mountains. It was really very eye-opening for something that, you know, we've all, as it, being in the travel industry, we've always sort of looked at those states as the flyover states. But they are absolutely amazing. So can we talk a little bit about one of those?
Absolutely. So we have a few that we are exploring with Penn State in 2022. The first of which is the national parks of the Old West. So really, I agree with you. The scenery in Wyoming and South Dakota, where we spend the majority of our time, is absolutely breathtaking.
Absolutely.
We will begin our journey in Rapid City, South Dakota. And then we depart charming Jackson Hole, one of my favorite places on the planet. I love Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And during our 9-day journey from Mount Rushmore to Old Faithful, from the Spearfish Canyon to the Snake River, you will see the best of the magnificent parks of South Dakota and Wyoming. You do this aboard a luxury motor coach, so a really comfortable way to travel. These are some of the highlights, you know, the geological phenomena of hot springs in South Dakota, the Badlands, which is, you know, really a national masterpiece where herds of bison roam, and you know, the prairie that you mentioned, the largest mixed grass prairie in the United States. We'll experience ranch life in the Bighorn Mountains for lunch, with options for fishing, hiking, or horseback riding. And during this trip, one of the highlights is always where you'll stay, which is the historic lodges within the national parks, or historic hotels. One in Custer State Game Lodge, which also was Eisenhower's summer home many years ago. So, you know, very iconic locations that the guests will be staying.
They actually have a room set aside that you can see where he slept.
You know, that's one of the things I love about this program, is that it's this beautiful blend of American history, Native American history, and so much wildlife and you know, natural history, really.
Yep.
We do allow a few meals on your own on this program in some of the charming towns that we visit, but again, it's fairly inclusive, and you'll have 2 guides with you from beginning to end. We have an expedition leader and a tour director. As I mentioned, one of them will be a retired park ranger. And both of them have subject matter expertise. So they're going to be lecturing throughout and telling you all about various sites that you'll see. They might be a historian. They might, really be a biologist. We aren't sure. They always have an expertise though, and they add, I think, considerable educational content to the program.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Some of the other highlights, sorry.
Nope, go ahead.
Some of the other highlights on this program are a Jeep Safari in Custer State Park and a guided tour of the Mount Rushmore complex. And then our program, of course, concludes with 3 days exploring Yellowstone in Grand Teton National Park.
Yeah.
You can also extend your time on this program in Jackson Hole, which I mentioned. And part of that extension is a float trip down Snake River, a docent-led tour of the National Museum of Wildlife Art, which is a really interesting place. And you'll overnight at the deluxe, it's a wonderful property called the Rustic Inn. That's not rustic at all. It heated bathroom floors. It's really high, really luxurious property. And it's all walkable to downtown Jackson Hole.
Yeah. Yeah. Ilene, and actually that was the last trip that I was on for the Alumni Association, was the National Parks trip back in 2019. And Ilene joined me on that trip, and she is joining us today from here in Happy Valley. It looks like we're going to make it through this with our little weather glitch earlier today. So I just want to welcome Ilene. She has traveled on both national parks and lodges of the Old West and the Southwest National Parks trip, both of them with Orbridge. So Ilene, tell us about your experience with the national parks trips.
Okay, well, thank you, Kelly, for inviting me to speak. And I have to do just shout outs to my college roommates from 7th floor Rittner, Sally and Clarky, the Center County chapter friends here, and some other travelers that I've traveled with. One of them, Kathy, who did the Prague and the Holland and Belgium trip, and another friend that I met on the Prague trip also from Pittsburgh, Joe, who we're still in touch with. But this has been my lifetime traveler. My twin sister, Beth, has accompanied me on 3 of the 4 alumni trips I've gone to, and I would be getting a phone call right after this ended if I didn't start with her. And this was us, I believe, by the Badlands.
Yes.
The trips we went on. I can't say enough about these 2 trips. They were incredible. The scenery, the lodging, the camaraderie, the services from Orbridge. Vanessa did not really do it justice. They meet you from start to finish. You see your bags when you put them out in the morning for each leg of the trip. You don't see them again till they're in your room at night. It's stress-free. People who know me know that I stress about a lot of things. I didn't stress other than the helicopter ride across the Grand Canyon. That was the
Southwest trip, and you're very brave. I am not a height person, so I give you full props and credits for being willing to do that one.
Yeah, but this trip in 2019 was great. My sister and I arrived a day early in Rapid City. We loved it. It's a charming city, the city of presidents. We did a scavenger hunt looking for the statues of all the presidents. That's in Rapid City. The iconic picture in the middle was one I took, and I'm just using mostly a little phone or an iPad, was the bison against the Grand Tetons in the background, Grand Prismatic at the Grand Canyon, and Mount Rushmore. You've seen it so much in pictures, but when you're actually there, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm here. And actually, Kelly, I think we ran into a park ranger who was a Penn Stater who took our picture. We ran into 2 park rangers that were Penn Staters in the trips.
We did.
Right. So the lodges were just beautiful. We stayed one night in the Old Faithful Lodge. Well, you walk out your front door and there is Old Faithful. So my sister and I, who are early risers, found out that sometime around 4:30 a.m., the geyser was going to go off. So at 4:15 a.m., we walked out of our room and it was amazing. We were the only 2 people there, and it's just spewing the steam, and it was incredible. We saw a Steamboat Geyser, which I believe is the one on the right, which hadn't erupted in years. And then we drive up and we see the steam just flying in the air. It was great. The moose was taken on the extended stay in Jackson, and we've been talking about looking for moose all along the trip. And I sent Kelly a message. Kelly had gone already, and I said, guess what we saw? And that was
So I highly recommend the extension in Jackson Hole just to see the moose. Because that is the one thing that I missed on the trip is seeing it live. But fortunately, Ilene kept me up to date on that one.
Right. And the trip allowed us to do things in Cody. We went to a rodeo. It was optional.
Oh, yeah.
But again, the people who wanted to go, the bus was arranged. We went to the rodeo. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. There was a nice mix of being on your own and exploring, and also guided activities. And the joy was, we weren't driving. We got dropped off everywhere that was either, a tourist area or somewhere. They got off the bus. They tell us when the bus is leaving, and we're there, and we just enjoy the scenery and leave the driving to others.
That was one of the things that I think we all talked about, especially on that national park trip while we were going through Yellowstone, is the number of passenger cars, and that it was really hard to sort of watch for the buffalo that decided to walk out in the middle of the road and still be able to see off to the side. So being on the bus and having somebody else having to worry about, seeing those bison while we enjoyed the scenery was a very nice feature.
Right. And bus, it's a very comfortable, nice coach. They often have, drop down, the TVs are there, and we watched documentaries about the CCC, which Conservation Corps. They, it wasn't that you're just sitting. First of all, the scenery is beautiful, so you're really looking out most of the time. Great chance to meet other travelers. The seats were rotated on the bus, so you're in the front sometime, and then the next leg of it, you're moved back a little. I can't say enough about the two trips. The Southwest National Parks was my first traveling out west, and again, incredible. We flew in a day early to Las Vegas. It was okay. We got there early, but I'm not a Las Vegas type person, so I was ready to see nature. Zion, you stay right in the park. You walk out and there's mule deer and the beautiful scenery, and you hike at your own pace, or you decide what you want to do.
Nice.
The Slot Canyon on the left, that was on Lake Powell. We did Glen Canyon and Antelope Canyon, and I don't know, the picture is a little artsy, but you're walking through and these are all beautiful carved slot canyons. It's just incredible. The pictures, the colors, everything is great. Arches, I loved. You just feel like you're back in, centuries ago. It's just so beautiful and just so amazing. And it was great. The sunrise and sunset at the Grand Canyon. My sister and I decided to be adventurous, and one night after dinner at the Grand Canyon, we had a good, nice, lovely meal. We decided to go walk around, and found ourselves walking around and getting lost. And it's a no ambient light area, so we were not sure where we were going. And we stopped. I'm laughing because we stopped at the Yavapai Lodge there, and they gave Beth and me these tiny little flashlights to help us. So at some point, I think we were looking for some GPS advice from above, and we looked up and we're standing right underneath the Milky Way.
Oh, beautiful.
It was incredible. Beth and I said, this was the best reason to get lost. It was just beautiful.
I'm glad you found your way home.
we did. And the Grand Canyon, we had signed up for the optional helicopter trip. Oh my God, I called my kids before I left, got in the helicopter. It's breathtaking. You're over the Kaibab forest, and I'm looking down saying, okay, there's land underneath. You cross over the rim and suddenly the Colorado River is below you, and you are just looking down at the Grand Canyon. And we got to the other side and I breathed a sigh of relief. And then my sister reminded me, Ilene, we have to go back. So it was a trip back, but it just incredible, optional. A lot of people went, some people didn't, but it was just, it was something I don't know if I'll ever do again, but I am so glad that I did do it.
Those are the best adventures. Those are the
Yes.
best adventures.
Yes. And some of the places we stayed at, the lodges, Goulding's Lodge was John Wayne. They filmed a lot of Wild West films there. It's quintessential Wild West out there. You see it and you can just, you know, imagine the filming that was done and years ago, what it was like. I think the middle picture might be the Grand Canyon, and this picture, I could not afford not to I couldn't afford to pass up. This was actually taken from the 2019 trip.
19, right.
And this was at the National Wildlife Museum. And I saw this painting on the wall and I said, oh my gosh, it's the Nittany lion. So we will end my part with, even when you're traveling near and far, you know, your heart of Penn State, you get a reminder of it somewhere.
You will find it out there. Yeah. The one thing I remember that it's funny. I just talked with a fellow traveler earlier this week about the national parks trip in 2019, and we were talking about the huckleberry pancakes at the Old Faithful Lodge. Anybody who knows me knows that, you know, food is truly dear to my heart, and the huckleberry pancakes were completely worth the trip.
Okay, I don't think I had any. I think I had the huckleberry milkshake, but I know some people on this Zoom got jars of huckleberry jam as souvenirs when I brought them back.
Yeah, that's very popular up there, and I can see why.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you, Ilene, so much. You know, I hope you'll stay with us. We have some questions that have been coming in that we would definitely want you to be a part of as we end up the presentation, but we're going to jump back over to Vanessa. You know, I know that we've changed this Southwest National Parks trips just a little bit since Ilene did it in 2017. Can you tell us about some of those changes?
Absolutely. I just wondering if Sarah might be able to put my photo back on. Unfortunately, I don't have that capability. So thank you for that whenever you get to it. And yes, as Ilene said, this program covers national parks in 3 states, Arizona, Utah, and Nevada. We begin this journey on the alternate itinerary than the one Ilene traveled to. So we end in Las Vegas rather than begin in Las Vegas. And we start this journey in Scottsdale, Arizona. And once we get started, we then continue to the Grand Canyon. As Ilene mentioned, you're there for long enough that you can see a sunrise and a sunset. You do stay on the rim of the canyon, which is always a highlight. And I'm just going to fast forward to a few photos. We'll continue north into Utah through Navajo Nation and to your accommodations in Monument Valley there, as Ilene mentioned, Goulding's Lodge, iconic place for the Westerns. Really so much character in all of these lodges. And there you have time to look at the movie memorabilia or the Native American artifacts in the museum there. A trip through Navajo Nation would not be complete without an authentic Navajo cookout. And we also have a storytelling presentation that's focused on Navajo legend, song, and history. That's always a big treat for guests. From Navajo Nation, we head west to Lake Powell for 2 lovely evenings at a terrific resort right on the lake. And this is always a guest favorite. It's a luxurious resort, great food, and you're able to take a cruise on the lake, enjoy a picnic style lunch there. Again, virtually all of the inclusions are, noted there. Again, some lunches are on your own on our day trips out. Or on our stops in the various national parks. And really, I did a beautiful job of giving you some of the really meaningful excursions that guests will be able to experience while they're on this program. I will say a few other highlights that I would point out. There's a rafting trip down the Colorado River that guests, it's a pretty gentle river, but guests love that. We also, as she mentioned, Zion, the long days in Zion are just really a treat. So while you're in Zion, you might hike to the Emerald Pools, or you might take a stroll along the Riverside Walk. There are many ranger-led programs there too. So there's a Zion Human History Museum that guests also really enjoy there. On your final full day after a morning hike in Zion, you'll travel to Las Vegas, where you'll end your program, and you can go on post nights if you'd like, or you'll fly out of Vegas back to your home destination. We've added for this year a pre-tour, and it's a 5-day, 4-night pre-tour where you have the opportunity to add 3 more parks to your list of parks. If you're checking off your list of national parks visited, on this pre-tour, you'll visit Arches, Canyonlands, and Mesa Verde National Parks.
That's one of the things that we talked about when we started planning these trips with you and showing everything that was offered is some of the options that you can do. I know that we mentioned earlier about some of the Native American, Indigenous people programs that are components that are part of both of these. I think one of the best surprises for the national parks and lodges trip, the first one that we had talked about, was the visit to Crazy Horse. And it was really enlightening, and the history that was provided at that time. And I think that you have some of those same kind of encounters on this Southwest trip, correct?
That's right. We absolutely do. There's a through line on both of them. And also, to be honest with you, also on the Manitoba, on the fly fishing trip too, there's really a bit of indigenous history of indigenous peoples in the area. And
nice.
We feel like that cultural component really is important to include in all of our programming. So yes, it's, on these 2 particular trips, the national parks in the Southwest, it's a stronger through line, but it's still present on the fly fishing as well.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah, I have not had the opportunity to do the Southwest National Parks, but certainly, we have covered a lot of territory today. I feel like we would be remiss not mentioning that we do still have 2 tours with Orbridge going out in 2021. The first one is the Death Valley, Yosemite, and the Great Parks of California, but they also hit Mammoth Lakes and Sequoia, I believe.
That's exactly right. We also visit Kings Canyon too on that trip.
Okay.
So you're right.
Okay. We are fortunate enough, Peter Newman, who is the head of the Department of Recreation, Parks and Tourism Management here at University Park, and has done extensive research and studies at various national parks across the US, is going to be the host for that trip for us. So we just confirmed him. It's very exciting. And he is also a former park ranger. He has led trips for us before out to Yellowstone, and he was a huge draw and asset. We still hear about how wonderful he was. So we're glad that he's going to be able to join us. There are still a couple seats available on this trip, even though it's departing within the next 6 weeks.
There are, and actually, it is definitely time is of the essence on this. If you want to join Peter and your fellow Penn State alums, of which there are about 33, I think. There's quite a few Penn Staters on this trip.
I think we have 22 Penn Staters and some, we had another
22 now.
Added. Yeah.
I think I'm thinking of the Galapagos. So
You
I'm
are,
sorry
yes.
about that.
Yeah.
Where we have another big group of Penn Staters too. So we will we'll be holding all of the lodging for another few days. And then unfortunately, we will have to release any unsold space. So I would say, If you're interested, please reach out and we'll get you any answers and more information on any questions.
Oh, we want to do that pretty quickly. And then the other one we have going out is actually a brand new program for Orbridge. It's the Civil Rights, A Journey to Freedom trip. And my apologies, these dates are incorrect. It is a November 6 to November 10 trip, and that information is reflected on our website. But can you give us just a little bit of information about this? Because this is brand new.
It is, and we're really excited about this program. So it's a short duration value price program that really allows guests unprecedented access to local activists and foot soldiers who have dedicated their lives to the civil rights movement. We begin and end our journey in Birmingham, and we'll retrace the footsteps of central figures like Dr. King, Rosa Parks, Fred Shuttlesworth, and we'll get to meet with their family members and fellow activists who worked alongside them and really hear firsthand accounts of their life and work.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, we were excited when this came open. You know, it's we're hoping that it does really well for us. We'll certainly look and offering it again in the future, because I know that this is a tight schedule for a lot of people, but we will look at offering it again in the future. If you can't make it this year, check back with us in a couple of years. We might be able to do it again. Well, I just want to thank Vanessa, so much. But of course, on top of all these North American destinations, we do still have, we are offering trips to both Antarctica and the Galapagos Islands. Both of them have very limited availability right now. The 33 that Vanessa had mentioned earlier are on the Galapagos Islands trip. We did this trip again before in 2019. And it was amazing. I still get emails and some phone calls from people who were on that trip, raving about how wonderful that one was. So can you give us just a little bit of information about the Galapagos trip?
Sure, absolutely. So we begin and end our program in Quito, Ecuador, where we'll have some cultural programming. We'll meet with locals, local artists, and purveyors of local goods. We then board a small ship yacht called the Isabella II in the Galapagos Islands, and those interior flights are included in the cost of the program getting to the islands. It's a 40-passenger small ship, and there's really no way to see the islands but by small ship. It is unparalleled in the access that you have. Every day you're off the ship, you can kayak, you'll be snorkeling, you will go on glass bottom boat rides. You'll have opportunities to hike, and it's a place like none I've ever been. The animal life, the wildlife, and the people are just really special.
Great. Yeah, both the Galapagos and Antarctica are trips that we offer every couple years. They're both what we consider sort of bucket list trips. It has been a lot of conversations over the years about starting to limit access. So we want to make sure as many Penn Staters as possible get to see both of those destinations while they are still open. Well, we have a little bit of a time left. I'd like to bring Ilene back. We do have a couple questions. So we'll go ahead and bring Ilene back. And ask some questions. Vanessa, if you'll stay with us. One of the things Anita and China have asked about what requirements there are to travel with the Alumni Association on any of our trips. And, we look for a Penn State connection. So either an alum, a friend. We have many friends of Penn State that aren't necessarily alum that travel with us. We may force you to wear a little blue and white. And, by the end of the trip, you will know what to say when we yell, "We are." But beyond that, there aren't any other requirements. Just check our website out, find a trip, and I'd be happy to talk with you about any questions. One of the other questions that we had, this is actually for Ilene. Dale had asked, compared to some other trips that you've taken, and I know that you've done most of your travel with the Alumni Association, but compared to what is the significant difference, and why do you continue to travel with the Alumni Association?
Because I would never plan these trips on my own. And the other thing is, especially the national parks, you have to make reservations at some of these beautiful lodges years in advance. I don't want to have to worry about what I'm going to do 3 years from now and where I'm staying. The lodges are beautiful. Your meals are set up, the meals that are provided, you don't have to wait in line for reservations anywhere. As I said, you leave your suitcases out, they're there at the next, at your next destination. And I think Vanessa didn't give enough credit. The libraries that you get if you sign up. I mean, I like being able to identify some of the birds and flowers. And I mean, you get like beautiful field guides, Ken Burns National Park book. I mean,
I love that book.
When you register at a certain date and you don't get like one book sent to you, you get a box of books sent to you. They have water in the bus, so that you can, although it's suggested you take your own, a water bottle. But I mean, I just would not want to have to do all of that planning on my own.
Well, that's great. And that is one of the advantages with group travel, with all of group travel,
right,
is somebody else takes care of all the details.
Right.
One of the things that we hear on a regular basis is, there are no logistics to worry about. If the bus doesn't show up at 8 a.m. exactly, you're not the one who's trying to figure out how you're going to get to breakfast or to your next tour. There is somebody there from our tour operator, especially Orbridge, who will handle all of that for you. So yeah, it's a huge advantage to doing group travel. And one of the other things that, we talk about the books and that have been provided. If you do any of the national parks trip, I highly recommend getting a national parks passport book. Every national park you go to, the visitor center has a stamp that you can put in there with the date that you were there. And if your memory is anything like mine, you go, when were we in Yellowstone? And I can pull that open and I can tell you exactly when. It's a great little book. And you can get it at any national park anywhere in the country.
Right. Kelly, the other thing I think is just the camaraderie, even with the other Alumni Association members. I mean, the Prague trip, there were people from Pittsburgh, so that was some friendly rivalry, but we've even kept in touch. They've come out to Penn State to visit. And immediately, well, what year did you graduate? Well, I graduated, this year, and there's connections, and there was some little bit of jesting between the Notre Dame group and our group on one of the others, but it just makes for such a fun time, and you get to know your travelers. You may join them for, meals that aren't scheduled, and the fact that you're all in the one lodge, at each stop, you just hang around you can hang around in the entrance, and people come that are on the trip. And I just found it just such a both trips, such rewarding experiences. That's great. Well, one of the actual questions that we have is, do we ever have any solo travelers? And we get this at almost every one every one of these webinars that we have done, is we ask about solo travelers, and all of our trips are open to single travelers who either want to have their own accommodations, or if they find somebody that they want to travel with, of course, they can do that. But Ilene, I know you normally travel with a friend, but I know your Prague trip also had a large number of solo travelers on it. Can you talk a little bit about why you thought that was an advantage for them? Okay, the Prague trip, we stayed the whole trip in one hotel. So you got to really know the people you were with. Our local guide was excellent. He would say in the morning, I'm going to plan for dinner at such and such a place. Let me know, during the morning if you would like to join us. So we would get people, who were solo traveling, or maybe even a couple, but they both didn't want to go. Most of the trip was like walking through different areas of Prague. So as you walk, you talk, and even for the side trips, I had wanted to go to the work camp Theresienstadt, and I mentioned it to people, and 6 of us ended up going. I mean, I didn't know the people, and some of them were singles, and the person at the desk set up the trip for us, and it was very open to inviting singles to go along. I don't think people thought, well, should I ask them if I want to join? I think all the trips were, even I think the national park trips, some people, even though they were
Yeah.
couples, not everybody did everything together.
Right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the things about the accommodations, like I said, we can set up for single accommodations. Some of our trips are actually geared towards that. A lot of that information can be found on our website. Some do not charge a single supplement. Most do, I'll be honest with you, most do, but we do have some trips each year that do not charge a single supplement if you want to have your own room. Somebody had asked about triple accommodations. Domestically, it's a little bit easier for us to do triple accommodations. Internationally, it's a little bit harder. They're just not set up, especially Europe. They're just not set up for that. Vanessa, can you talk a little bit about the availability for triple accommodations?
Sure. On the Galapagos and Antarctica, both have triples available. On the national parks, we would put a request in for a triple, but certainly it's a possibility.
Okay, great.
And we do try to work with guests on those kind of special requests.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, one of the other questions that just came in is they wanted to know for the fly fishing trip to Manitoba, if you've never fished before and you're a newbie, can you still go? Vanessa, I'll let you talk first to that.
Yes, please go. I think it's the perfect environment to learn. With Professor Daniels, as well as with the guides from the lodge, I think you're going to get a lot of one-on-one attention, and it's the perfect time. And I think the fish are pretty plentiful, so you'll probably have some good luck too.
When I was talking with Professor Daniels, I am not a fisherman, and I mentioned to him about, this sounds really great. Maybe even I could fish. He's like, we can get you to fish. He says, doesn't matter if you've never had a rod in your hand. So yes, we highly encourage all levels in order to attend that trip. So that would be great. I think we've hit a lot of the questions. One of them was about the new coronavirus vaccine passport, especially what's going on in Europe right now. This is really very new information that has been coming out. We've talked about it in a couple meetings that I've been in this week. There's a couple different apps out there that are becoming to get some more notice, I guess, in order to register. So it's a little bit easier to get back into the US. There aren't any that I can personally recommend right now. Vanessa, have you heard of any? Right now, everything I'm hearing is as long as you have your vaccine card with you, that's all that they're asking to see for US travelers.
So there are some in particular, it's really destination specific. So
okay.
What we find in Italy is a little different in France. There are just some nuances to it. That said, we have, and this is for our trips, but certainly you can use it as a resource. We have a wellness website. It's orbridge.com/wellness, and it's destination specific information about really what is required at this moment in time. Obviously, changes are happening fast. So tomorrow there could be a bit of different information out there, but today it's to the minute updated within, I would say an hour or two of new information being disseminated. And you can just go to that site and find more info. But yes, there is an app for Europe. There's also an app for Canada. So definitely we can help walk you through those. And it is not as intimidating as it seems. I can promise you that. Having navigated the app, it's not terrible.
Great. Yeah, Sarah has been putting some links in the chat for us that people can click on. We'll go ahead and make sure that we will send a follow-up email to anybody who attended this or who had registered for this. We'll send up a follow-up email and make sure that those links are also included. One of the other things that Orbridge was very gracious to offer us this time is a discount if you register for any of the 2022 trips that we talked about today. Correct me, is it September 1st?
1 month from today. So if you register in the next month and mention the travel showcase or spotlight with Penn State, then we'll just extend a $125 per person discount, and it will appear on your invoice.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. That's very generous. We certainly appreciate that. But you're a good Penn Stater, so you know we know that you pulled some strings to get that for us. So thank you.
I like to get Penn Staters. I like to have Penn Staters travel with Orbridge, and then I might get to travel with you too. So
I think that ought to be a requirement. I think anytime we have a
Yeah.
group, I think you should definitely have to come with us. So,
I
but
agree.
well,
I'm
it
gonna
does
talk
look
with my
like we're
boss
running
about
out of time. I want to again thank both Ilene and Vanessa for joining us. It's always a pleasure to talk to both of you. I agree with Vanessa. You need to get onto campus a little more often. I know we usually try to get your children here so we can get them some creamery ice cream, which is, you know, as Ilene and I are both big fans of creamery ice cream. So I think that, you know, as soon as you can get back into Happy Valley, we would love to see you. I do hope that everybody has enjoyed today's presentation. Take the time to visit our webpage, see all of our collection for the remainder of 2021 and going into 2022. We'll start working on our 2023 collection. Actually, in the next 4 weeks, I have my first meeting to start talking about 2023 programming. So that the website, of course, will be the first place you'll see that. I'm going to be back in November for another travel spotlight. This time, we're going to talk about some cruising. So hopefully you all will be able to join us for that. It is November 10th. We're hoping to talk about some cruising. A representative with Go Next is going to be joining me. We're going to be talking about some trips to Alaska, the Mediterranean, and the Black Sea. So in the meantime, if anybody has any questions, again, you can email me directly at alumnitravel@psu.edu. For a full listing of all of our virtual events, go to our Alumni Association webpage, alumni.psu.edu. And I hope you all have a great night and we all get to travel together soon. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.